You're still using emotions in your plan? Ah, I see. That's exactly why you've never succeeded. You say you're strategic, but you panic when they ignore you. You say you're focused, but your mind breaks when someone criticizes you. You call it love, loyalty, friendship. I call it distraction. If you're still planning your life around feelings, then I already know the outcome. Failure. Because power doesn't belong to the most emotional. It belongs to the most controlled. So if you're serious about changing your fate, then listen till the end. This isn't a speech. This is your dissection. This is your awakening. You've been taught that being emotional means being human. They lied. Emotion is not proof of humanity. It's proof that you can be manipulated. They trigger your guilt, you fold. They use silence, you chase. They cry, you forgive. They flatter, you trust. You think you're making decisions? You're reacting to emotional traps like a lab rat. That's why you never finish what you start. That's why you lose when it matters. That's why people play with you like a pawn. But I have a good heart. Then, congratulations. You've made yourself easy to break. You can't even hide your own weakness. And you think you're ready to dominate? Wake up. Emotion without control is self-sabotage. The world rewards composure, not good hearts. You want to be like me? Then the first rule is this. Your mind is your strongest weapon, and your emotions are its rust. Every time you overthink because someone ghosted you, every time you scroll endlessly because you feel empty, every time you skip your routine because you're not in the mood, you dull your edge. You throw away the one thing that could have saved you. Mental sharpness. People aren't more talented than you. They're just less emotional. They don't feel the fear, they execute. They don't care about being liked, they position. They don't seek peace, they build leverage. You, on the other hand? You care what they think. You over-apologize. You panic in silence. You pretend to be composed while your mind screams. And that's why you lose. Not because you're weak, but because you haven't learned to silence the chaos. Discipline is not just doing the work. It's doing it with a calm mind, no matter what burns around you. Let me tell you a secret most will never understand. You are only controllable when you're predictable, and emotions make you completely predictable. They know exactly what will make you jealous, what will make you chase, what will make you beg. So they use it, and you fall every time. Ayanokoji never shows emotion, not because he doesn't feel, but because he knows the second he shows it, he gives away the advantage. You want to be dominant? Then become unreadable. Smile when they expect anger. Stay silent when they expect answers. Disappear when they expect apology. Don't give them a pattern to exploit. Be the storm they never see coming. That's how you control any room, without saying a word. Control doesn't always mean power. It means they can't figure you out. And if they can't read you, they can't stop you. You've been chasing motivation like a drug addict, waiting for that feeling to hit you before you act. You know why I don't need motivation? Because I've removed emotion from the equation. Discipline is when your actions aren't chained to your feelings. I do what must be done, whether I feel like it or not. Because winners don't act based on how they feel. They act based on what needs to be done. You still haven't leveled up because you're addicted to emotional permission. You're waiting to feel confident, to feel ready, to feel good. But let me give you the harsh truth. You don't need to feel anything. You just need to move. No one cares about your mood. The world respects execution. And execution only happens when you bury emotion and move anyway. The strongest version of you doesn't wait to be ready. It moves while shaking. It plans while bleeding. It trains while doubting. And that version is dangerous. Right now, you have two choices. Go back to your emotional loops and keep reacting like everyone else. Or Burn it all down. The weakness, the neediness, the feelings. You want to be untouchable? Then learn how to walk through emotional fire without flinching. Start training yourself to feel nothing in moments that break most people. They ghost you? Stay calm. They insult you? Stay silent. They disappoint you? Stay focused. This is not about becoming heartless. This is about becoming bulletproof. The ones who win aren't cold by nature. They are cold by choice. Because when you control your inner world, nothing outside can touch you. That's the moment you switch from being manipulated to being the one who moves the pieces. You'll hate this part, because it's the part where your excuses die. Every failure in your life came with a feeling attached to it. Fear, doubt, impulse, comfort. You chose comfort over discipline, distraction over structure, emotions over strategy. You ran from pain instead of sharpening through it. You cried when you should have planned. You forgave when you should have vanished. And now, you feel stuck, because your habits are owned by your emotions. But you're not broken. You're just not trained. Your mind is soft because you fed it softness. Now it's time to starve it of weakness. Start today. Start now. Start by silencing the emotions that keep you average. You think you need more motivation, more words, more fire. Number. You need more control. Control over your emotions. Control over your reactions. Control over your internal world. Only then do you control others. Only then do you control your future. You were raised inside an emotional system. You were told what to feel, when to feel, and how to react. You were trained to be polite when insulted, to smile when betrayed, to cry when it hurts. And you followed that system without question. Not because you were weak, but because you never realized the system was the real enemy. You think school teaches intelligence? Number. It teaches obedience. It punishes deviation. You learned early that emotions like shame, guilt, and approval were the real weapons, not grades. And now that same emotional conditioning follows you like a shadow. Every time someone looks at you a certain way, you react. Every time you're left on red, you spiral. Every time your plan doesn't work out, you self-destruct. You're not living, you're reacting. So here's the truth. If you want to be like me, you must do something brutal. You must detach, not just from people, but from the entire emotional system that built you. Because power doesn't come from feeling less. It comes from stepping outside the entire game. So here's what I want you to do. If this hit you somewhere deep, don't comment yet. First, sit in silence for 10 minutes after this. Feel the burn. Let the truth sink into your bones. Then when you're ready, come back and comment. I'm done feeling. I'm ready to move. Like this if you're no longer interested in being emotional. Share this with the one friend who overthinks everything. And remember, emotions are natural, but control is earned. If you master yourself, you don't need to chase anything. They will chase you. You ever wonder why people keep losing in life? Not just in games, not just in business, but in life? It's not because they're weak. It's not even because they're stupid. It's because they keep playing a game of chess, with their emotions strapped to their forehead like a neon sign. They react. They overthink. They get angry. They get jealous. And guess what? That makes them predictable. And if you're predictable, you're already dead. Now me? I don't move like that. I don't let feelings write the playbook. I stay silent. I stay calculated. I stay invisible. And that's exactly why I win, when no one sees it coming. See, everyone's out here trying to prove something, trying to show off how tough they are, how emotional, how passionate. But passion fades. Discipline doesn't. Feelings betray you. Strategy saves you. So let me ask you, what do you gain by showing the world how you feel? What changes when you explode in anger? When you cry in front of people who couldn't care less? When you get jealous over things that don't even belong to you? You know what changes? Nothing. You just expose your weakness. You think people respect vulnerability? Maybe a few do. But the rest? They smell blood. And when they see weakness, they use it. It's how this world works. And you can either accept that and build armor, or keep bleeding every time someone pokes your feelings. I didn't become powerful because I was stronger. I became powerful because I stopped caring about how I felt and started focusing on what I needed to do. There's a time to feel, and then there's a time to move like a shadow, strike like a ghost, and leave no fingerprints behind. People say I'm cold, that I don't react, that I'm emotionally numb. Good. Let them think that. Let them believe I'm disconnected, distant, heartless. Because while they're trying to figure me out, I'm already 5 steps ahead. While they're yelling, I'm calculating. While they're crying, I'm adapting. And while they're swinging wildly, I've already finished the fight. You don't win wars with emotions. You win them with silence, strategy, and patience. Look around you. Everyone's trying to be loud, to be noticed, to scream their pain into the void, hoping someone gives a damn. But what if you didn't need that? What if you could carry the pain, wear it like armor, and move like no one could touch you? That's what I did. I stopped trying to be understood. I stopped trying to make people care. I stopped trying to prove I was worthy. And in that silence, I found clarity, power, focus. Because when your emotions stop controlling you, the world loses control over you too. People fear what they don't understand. So give them nothing to understand. They'll call it mysterious, they'll call it antisocial. They'll say you're cold, heartless, robotic. But deep down, they know the truth. They can't predict you. And what they can't predict, they can't control. And if they can't control you, you've already won. So stay silent, stay calm, stay unreadable. Your emotions make you predictable. But your control? That makes you invisible. You want to know why that silence hits harder than a scream? Because most people don't expect it. They expect breakdowns. They expect explosions. They expect noise. But silence? That terrifies them. Because silence is composed, controlled, dangerous. It's like walking into a room and seeing someone with a blank face. No twitch, no smirk, no frown, nothing. Your brain scrambles, searching for meaning. But there is none. And that's when the fear creeps in. People can't figure out what they can't read. And the truth is, most people are screaming their emotions even when their mouth is shut. Their body language, their eyes, their tone. They're screaming insecurity, anger, desperation. You want to win? You shut all that off. Train yourself to detach. Not suppress, detach. Suppression is bottling things up. Detachment is rising above it. Watching your emotions like a storm through a glass window. You feel them, yeah. But you don't let them in. You don't let them steer the wheel. This doesn't mean you become numb. It means you become aware. You learn how your emotions move, how they try to take over. And then you choose to act, not react. Let me hit you with something real. The strongest people aren't the ones who feel nothing. They're the ones who control everything they feel. Someone insults you? Cool. Observe. Store it. Don't bark back. Don't show pain. That energy, you turn it into results. You let them talk. And while they talk, you build. You think the loudest person wins? Nah. The quiet one wins. The one they never saw coming. The one they thought was soft until the moment he dismantled everything. That's the path. That's the power. You want to be invisible? Master control. Master detachment. Master silence. And when the world tries to figure you out, stay unreadable. Because once you become unpredictable, you become untouchable. So from this moment on, stop giving the world pieces of your mind. Stop giving away your reactions, your triggers, your emotional tells. Move like Ayanokoji. Cool, calm, strategic. Never play all your cards. Never show your full hand. The world is watching, but that doesn't mean you have to speak. Let your silence confuse them. Let your results speak volumes. Let your presence shake them without a single word. They think emotions make you real, but what makes you lethal is control. Stay silent. Stay sharp. Stay invisible. And when it's time to strike, they won't even see it coming. Let's keep it real. The only reason people try to break you emotionally is because it's the easiest way to win. And they know most of you? You're one emotional poke away from spiraling. One slick comment. One rejection. One failure. And you fall apart. But imagine being unshakable. Imagine someone throwing everything at you. Lies, betrayal, chaos. And you don't flinch. You don't fold. You don't even blink. That's power. You want to stop being a target? Then stop giving them ammo. They say, he's emotionless. Nah, I'm just locked in. I'm just tired of wasting energy on things that don't matter. You want control over your life? Take control of yourself first. No one can break what they can't reach. Let them project. Let them guess. Let them hate. Your job is not to be liked. Your job is to win quietly, while they're busy gossiping loudly. And if this hit you deep, good, because that means you're ready. Ready to stop reacting. Ready to stop explaining. Ready to stop being predictable. Comment, I see everything. I say nothing. Like this video if you're done being soft. Share this with the one friend who needs to snap out of it. Because while they're still yelling about how they feel, you're becoming someone they'll never understand or control. You're not just rising, you're evolving, and they don't stand a chance.
You want to be like me? Interesting. Do you even understand what that means? Do you truly comprehend the cost of excellence without emotion? The weight of superiority without validation? Most people fantasize about power, strategy, and control. But what they really want is attention, applause, and easy success. What I am is the result of deliberate isolation, cold logic, brutal calculation. People chase power like it's a trophy. I see it as a tool. Emotion is your leash. Cut it. You think self-control is about pretending you're fine. Number. It's about eliminating the noise in your head before it controls your actions. I don't get emotional. Not because I'm numb, but because I refuse to let feelings interfere with function. You're not weak because you feel pain. You're weak because you let pain become your identity. The moment you start justifying failure with emotion, you've already surrendered. And if you want to walk this path, my path, you need to kill that part of yourself. Comfort will destroy you. Approval will sedate you. The world tries to feed you ideas about balance, rest, acceptance. They want you average. They want you calm, distracted, and obedient. I was not made for peace. I was made to endure. And if you want to step into my shoes, start by embracing isolation. I've been alone in rooms where silence felt louder than screams. I've stood still while others broke down, not because I was stronger, but because I had already broken and rebuilt myself before they even noticed the cracks. Strength is not visible. It's not a flexed muscle or a stoic face. It's the part of you that nobody sees, the part that doesn't flinch when everything collapses. I analyze people like puzzles. Every habit, every twitch, every slip of the tongue, it's all data. You rely on motivation. I rely on observation. While you're reacting emotionally, I'm calculating probabilities. While you speak to impress, I speak only when it's necessary. Talk less. Listen more. Understand everything. Let me give you a truth you're not ready for. Most people want to win, but they don't want to do what's required. They want attention, not mastery. They want shortcuts, not strategy. If you truly want to be like me, stop fantasizing about the end result. Start engineering the reality. Discipline is not a trend. It's not a quote or a mood. It's consistency when no one's watching. It's doing what's required even when you feel nothing. Some days you won't feel fire. You'll feel empty. That's when most quit. That's when I double down. There is no motivation, only mission. When I wake up, I don't negotiate with comfort. I don't debate the plan. I act. Strategy is execution, not imagination. You want to win? Then master your mind first. Learn to direct your thoughts like a weapon. Be still in chaos. You want to know how I see people? I don't see friends or enemies. I see patterns, threats, and assets. Attachment clouds decision-making. Fear, use it. Doubt, question it. Pain, study it. Every reaction is a weakness if you don't own it. Most people fold under pressure. I treat pressure like a test. It's not about surviving. It's about performing precisely when most people collapse. If you want to stand on top, you must train under stress until chaos becomes your normal. This isn't a life for the faint-hearted. You will lose people. You will become misunderstood. But that's the price of mastery. You don't become exceptional by being liked. You become exceptional by becoming undeniable. Now let's talk about failure. People treat failure like a disease. They run from it. They hide it. I dissect it. Failure is information. It's a mirror showing you exactly where you're weak. Most people lie to themselves to feel better. I face reality to get stronger. I don't trust motivation. I trust systems. My days are structured. My mind is quiet. My emotions are irrelevant to the mission. That's how I win. Not by being inspired, but by being obsessed with the process. Let me give you something dangerous. Awareness. Once you see how fake most people are, how easily they crumble, how desperately they seek attention, you'll realize how much power you've been giving away by being nice. Niceness is often submission in disguise. Respect is earned. Power is taken. And silence is the loudest answer you can give to weakness. Don't waste energy convincing people. Prove it through outcomes. When people see your control, your calm, your unshakable focus, they'll fear you before they even understand you. You want to know the secret? The secret is this. There is no secret. Just hard, lonely, unrelenting work. There's no magic pill. No morning routine that will save you. No guru can hand you what must be forged in fire. People ask me, how do I stay consistent? You remove choice. You stop treating discipline like a mood. You decide that the mission is non-negotiable. That's how. If you truly want to walk this path, forget about comfort. Forget about external praise. Get obsessed with precision. Train your body. Sharpen your mind. Expand your knowledge. Operate in silence. Let your results make the noise. I don't need to be the loudest. I only need to be the last one standing. And you? You want to be like me? This life isn't for everyone. You want peace? Stay average. But if you want power, then become dangerous. Not through violence, but through intellect, patience, and precision. The world bows to those who master themselves. Now decide, do you want to be liked? Or do you want to be remembered? Like this video if you're done chasing comfort. Comment, I'm ready, if you're willing to walk this path, alone, cold, and calculated. Share this with someone who talks more than they act. It might wake them up.
You ever wonder why the world keeps playing you? Why you get betrayed, ignored, underestimated, over and over? It's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you're weak. It's because you keep wearing your emotions on your damn sleeve, and they see it. They see every reaction, every flinch, every time you lose your cool. And the second they see it, you're predictable. Predictable people are easy to control. You want to stop being a puppet? Then cut the strings, starting with your emotions. See, nobody tells you this, but emotions are the oldest form of manipulation. Not logic, not force, Emotion. You ever watch people get played and wonder how they didn't see it coming? It's because the manipulation wasn't loud. It was subtle. It used fear, guilt, shame, approval, attention. And once the target felt, they folded. That's why I don't react, not because I'm a machine, but because I refuse to hand someone else the remote to my system. You ever been lied to and felt that punch in your gut? Now pause right there. That's the trigger. That gut reaction is where most people lose. They speak out of pain. They lash out. They make emotional decisions they'll regret 10 minutes later. I don't. I treat emotion like fire. I don't touch it raw. I watch it burn. And then I decide what to build with the ashes. Here's what most don't understand. Emotional control isn't about being heartless. It's about being smart. You can love deeply, feel deeply, be passionate, and still be calm under pressure. Because real strength isn't how much you feel. It's how much you contain without exploding. You ever seen someone go off in public? Yelling, throwing hands, crying in front of the enemy? Yeah, they lost the moment they got loud. People who lose control in public have already lost in private. What you see on the outside, that's just the leak. You want to move like me? Learn to seal every crack. You get hit, no one sees it. You get betrayed, you stay quiet. Because silence makes people nervous. And mystery, that's leverage. Look, people expect a reaction from you. They want one. They feed off it. When you don't give it to them, it scrambles them. They start guessing. They start spiraling. And in that chaos, you move in. With clarity. With control. With surgical precision. That's how you dominate people who think they've already won. Let me give you this. Never show the enemy where it hurts. Not with words, not with your eyes, not with your tone. The moment they see what triggers you, they'll use it over and over like a cheat code. But if you keep your poker face clean, they don't know where to aim. Someone disrespects you, don't shout. Smile. Note it. Someone leaves you on red, cool. Pull back. Vanish. Someone betrays you, don't announce it. Let them rot in confusion. Let your silence eat them alive, because the most dangerous man in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who felt everything and still didn't blink. Here's a principle I live by. Control emotion, control outcome. If you can stay calm when everyone else is losing their minds, you already won. Because chaos blinds people. And the one who sees clearly in chaos controls the entire board. They'll call you heartless, cold, detached. Let them talk. Let me leave you with this mindset shift. Every time you choose calm over chaos, patience over panic, stillness over reaction, you level up in a way no one can measure. No degree, no status, no follower count can match the power of a person who controls their emotional weather. You want to win in this world? Then stop being emotional. Because if you don't own your emotions, someone else will. Every time you react instantly, you hand them the steering wheel. You give them the map to your weakness. You can't walk into war crying over a comment. You can't chase greatness while being triggered by opinions. Real emotional control is when you feel the chaos rising inside you and you don't flinch. Not because you're faking it, because you trained for this. You ever felt rage so deep your chest burned? Good. That means you're alive. But if you blow up every time you feel it, you're not a warrior. You're a fuse waiting to explode. You want to be feared? Be the one who smiles while everyone else loses it. Be the one who doesn't have to raise their voice to shake the room. That's power. People don't expect you to stay calm under pressure. They don't expect silence when they throw dirt on your name. And when you don't react, they get nervous. They start wondering. They lose control of the game they started.
Here's what I've learned. Don't argue, don't beg, don't explain. They understand exactly what they did. They just want to see if they still control you. But if you walk away with a straight face, if you leave the battlefield without bleeding, you win twice. Once for not breaking, twice for not becoming like them. Let them say what they want. Let them assume you're cold, emotionless. They don't get it, and they're not supposed to. Because you don't rise by convincing the crowd. You rise by commanding yourself. Stay quiet, stay dangerous, stay focused. Let them think you feel nothing, while inside, you're planning everything. You know what separates the player from the pawn? Reaction time. See pawns move on impulse. They jump at the first sign of disrespect. They chase every apology, every compliment, every fight. But a real player? He watches. He waits. He strikes when the outcome is already guaranteed. You know how I stay 3 steps ahead? By not reacting to anything instantly. I treat every interaction like a test. You want to piss me off? Cool. You want to ghost me? Good. You want to lie to my face? Go ahead. But I won't flinch. Why? Because you just showed your card. While I haven't even picked mine up yet. I still feel pain. I still get angry. But I don't act on it until I've dissected it. By the time I respond, I already know the outcome. That's the difference between reactive people and dangerous people. One's emotional, the other's untouchable. So next time you feel the urge to pop off, pause. So from now on, stop explaining yourself. Stop defending your name. Stop fighting for attention. Your silence will teach them what your words never could.
You want to never lose? Then stop fantasizing about victory and start building the version of yourself that cannot be defeated. Not by emotion, not by pressure, not by time. There's a reason I don't crack when the room tightens and the air feels thin. I was forged in a place where comfort didn't exist, where approval didn't matter, where weakness wasn't judged, it was erased. You call it harsh. I call it necessary. You think you want to win. I know what it costs. Everyone likes to talk about discipline until it demands their sleep, their peace, their pride. Everyone wants mental strength until it means no one will understand them anymore. You say you want to be like me. Good. Then listen carefully. The White Room is not a building. It's a decision, a protocol, a life. It's the choice to abandon the softness that keeps you average and step into a routine that doesn't care how you feel. It only cares whether you execute. Rule 1. Eliminate noise. Not reduce, eliminate. No constant notifications, no endless opinions, no need to broadcast your struggle for sympathy. If it's not part of the mission, it's a leak in your system. You don't fight leaks by inspiring yourself. You rip out the pipe, seal the pressure, and continue. The world will call you cold. Let them. Their warmth is why they quit. Rule 2. Train under stress. Most people practice when it's easy, then shatter when it's real. I reverse it. I build precision inside discomfort. I learn to breathe when the room shrinks. Think when the clock screams. Act when doubt claws at the door. If your method only works when the sky is clear, you don't have a method, you have a mood. Stop chasing a feeling. Build a framework that performs at 0 visibility. Rule 3. Emotional silence. Not suppression, control. Suppression buries emotion until it explodes. Control observes emotion until it obeys. Anger approaches. I log it, extract information, and choose response. Fear knocks. I check it for facts, then assign it a seat in the back. Sadness visits. I let it pass, but it doesn't rewire my plan. I am not empty. I am ordered. Chaos is a visitor, not a resident. You think resilience is natural. It isn't. It's engineered. You test yourself daily, on purpose, before the world does it by force. Cold showers are not enough. Inspirational quotes are not enough. You will tempt your own limits until they break, then rebuild them cleaner. Every day a controlled burn, so the wildfires cannot spread. Every day a small discomfort, so you stop negotiating with pain. People think I lack empathy. They're wrong. I see people clearly too. Clearly, I can map their triggers in minutes, where praise controls them, where envy corrodes them, where fear freezes them. That's why I don't hand them mine. If someone can pull your strings, they will. If they can't, they'll call you heartless. Accept the label and continue. Your mission is not to be admired. It's to be effective. You want to know why you keep losing? Because you keep telling yourself a story where your feelings are the main character. You narrate defeats to make them softer. Justify distractions to feel safer. Call surrender self-care when it's just avoidance in a nicer suit. In the white room mindset, there is no narrator, only metrics, methods, outcomes. Did it work? Did it fail? Adjust it. No drama. No defense. Only data. You think strength is the loudest scream in the room? Strength is the last calm mind in a storm. When others descend into panic, I slow down. When accusations fly, I reduce to facts. When pressure spikes, I narrow the frame to the next correct action. Pressure is not an enemy. It's an instructor. It reveals who has a process and who has a personality pretending to be a process. You want my mindset? So, listen here. Replace identity with standards. Don't say I am disciplined. Say I meet these standards daily. Identity becomes vanity. Standards remain measurable. Replace hope with design. Hope waits. Design builds. Hope asks for leniency. Design writes redundancy into the plan. When life removes a piece, your structure stands. Replace pride with precision. Pride defends the old method to protect the ego. Precision discards yesterday's method if today's data disproves it. You will lose people. Understand this early. When you stop leaking emotions, those who fed on your reactions will starve. When you stop validating weakness, those who worship comfort will resent you. Do not hate them. Do not convert them. Move quietly. Build relentlessly. Let your results produce the gravity that either pulls the right ones closer or pushes the wrong ones away. You're afraid of being misunderstood. That fear is the last chain on your ankle. The cost of mastery is misinterpretation. They will call you distant because you stopped oversharing. They will call you arrogant because you stopped apologizing for standards. They will call you robotic because you stopped letting storms decide your steps. Accept the names. Keep the mission. Pain will visit. Let it in through one door and out the other. Do not build it a home. When it arrives, write. List the facts. Find the lesson. Convert it into a drill, then return to the schedule. The schedule is sacred. The schedule is the spine. Without it, you collapse into sentiment. With it, you survive every season. The white room mindset is not glamorous. It will not trend. It will not give you a personality others can clap for. It will give you something better. A life that doesn't swing on the mood of the day. A mind that doesn't fracture under scrutiny. A body that moves when asked. A reputation that arrives months after the work is done and leaves a trail no critic can erase. Now, a choice. Keep the patterns that kept you predictable, or step into a discipline that makes you unreadable. Keep explaining why you couldn't, or execute while others explain. Keep narrating your emotions, or write procedures that outperform them. The door is simple. The crossing is not. If you are truly ready to build the self that never loses even when you take a hit, even when plans collapse, even when the world misreads your silence, then prove it. Comment, "I embrace the white room." Not to impress me. To declare to yourself that the experiment begins now. Then do 3 things. Like this, if your comfort has cost you enough. Share this with the one person who could become a weapon if they stop negotiating with their limits. Save this and replay it when your feelings try to retake the wheel. You say you want to never lose. Here's the truth you won't hear in soft rooms. You don't become unbeatable by being perfect. You become unbeatable by becoming systematic. Systems don't get tired. Systems don't argue. Systems don't beg. And when they fail, they are refined, quietly, precisely. Be the system. Be the mind that does not waver. Be the ghost that others can't predict. And when it is finally time to strike, do it with such calm inevitability that they call it fate. It wasn't fate. It was the white room. You ever wonder why most never surpass average? Why they always stay mediocre? It's because they mistake obsession for overwork and brilliance for luck. They chase after results with desperation, then hide behind excuses, bad schedules, boring teachers, too much stress. Maybe you are feeling bored watching this. It's common for average people, but if you want to rise above average, then watch this till the end. From the first day I opened a textbook, I understood. Grades, recognition, winning itself, it's not chance, it's calculation. The world thinks genius is talent, wrapped in nice packaging. They never see the machinery underneath the habits forged in silence. The systems built in the hours when everyone else is recharging. You want that edge? Start by dismantling your comfort. If you're still here, you've already outlasted the easily discouraged. But don't deceive yourself every minute you hesitate. Someone else sharpens their intent. Remember that the next time you reach for your phone, or comfort, underscore, the first law is simple. Purge every distraction with absolute ruthlessness. I never left my success to willpower or fleeting discipline. If the phone could ring, it was powered down, locked away. If social media could tempt, it was erased. Passwords changed. The door to failure slammed shut before the day even began. My study space, blank, intentional, stripped of anything that didn't serve. Not because it looked good, because it forced relentless focus. Most resist this. They cling to study playlists and messy comfort, then wonder why their efforts vanish by nightfall. I didn't negotiate with distraction. I destroyed it. It's easy to feel boredom, to chase stimulation as soon as the mind resists. But true genius is forged at boredom's edge. Every time the urge to zone out hit, I did something different. I scrutinized my own attention like a chessboard. Am I reading with intention? Or just marking time? Do I actually recall this? Or am I faking certainty? Most people respond to confusion with endless rereading. I closed the book, forced myself to reconstruct the answer from memory. Where I froze, that's where the work started, where my competition always gave up. Even the strongest routine will waver with time. Fatigue, failure, distraction, they visit everyone. What separates brilliant students from all the rest isn't that they never break down. It's that they respond with ruthless self-analysis. Not, why am I failing? But, where did my process leak? Every score, good or bad, was a new data point. If something broke under pressure, a topic, a method, a mindset, I rebuilt it before the next battle. Never the same mistake twice. No pride in perfection, just relentless evolution. You might wonder, doesn't this approach breed stress? Intensity? Loneliness? Maybe. But genius is lonely. Not because others are lesser, but because obsession prunes every distraction. I built my rituals to demand instant flow, starting always at the same time, always the same way. The brain, eager for routine, entered focus faster every day. No debate, no willpower drama. Sit, breathe, pick a concept, and begin. What are you still clinging to that keeps you ordinary? You know the answer. Replace one comfort tonight with discipline. It doesn't need applause. Quiet results are the most honest. Underscore. Time management isn't about budgets, apps, productivity hacks. It's about controlling your priorities under pressure. When the deadline stacked up, I trained for adversity, not comfort. Study with distractions in the background. Push harder when the room was noisy, work late, or wake early if pressure could happen. I simulated it, so shock became a weapon, not a setback. The mind that practices chaos is never rattled on exam day, but the true weapon is iteration. Each test, each assignment, wasn't about celebrating success but hunting for flaws. Where did I hesitate? Where were my notes unclear? How could my process get faster, sharper, lighter? Genius is not a fixed trait. It's a project you remake each week, each mistake, each result. The only shame is in delaying the upgrade. Maybe you want steps. Fine, here's what real genius looks like, applied. 1. Eliminate all distractions. Phone gone. Desk clear. No excuses. 2. Single, sharp target, one concept. Total mastery before moving on. 3. Test recall, rebuild from scratch. Never just passive review. 4. Simulate pressure train in adversity, not safety. 5. Hunt mistakes, fix process, not ego. Do this without compromise and see what others call impossible become routine. But don't confuse steps for a cure. They only matter when fused to action. Most will watch, nod, and return to bad habits. The few who act transform. Underscore. If anything here unsettles you, good. Discomfort is the price of growth. Leave a comfort zone behind and discover what you look like at maximum pressure. Underscore. When you begin to notice others asking how you do it, you'll realize it was never about talent. It was the grim refusal to tolerate weakness, the quiet decision over and over to abandon what didn't work. People talk about balance, about rewarding effort, but effort without outcome is just fatigue. You don't rise by being busy. You rise by tightening process until results are guaranteed, and then making impossible your only standard. Before this video ends, make change real. Clear your desk. Choose the hardest chapter. Ban your phone. Tackle discomfort with curiosity, not complaint. Right now, not after the video. Not tomorrow. Most will choose average again, but not you. If you act, you'll realize the world was only ever divided into two kinds of students. Those who wait for permission, and those who claim certainty, until nobody dares compete. Underscore. That's how you make genius inevitable. By designing the process, living the standard, and refusing to compromise no matter who's watching, and especially when nobody is. The world's top performers will call you lucky, robotic, obsessed. Let them. You'll know the truth. You became uncatchable by outlasting comfort, by treating uncertainty as data, and by making genius just the consequence of never giving in. That's the real secret. Studying like a genius isn't a set of techniques. It's a daily act of destruction of distraction, mediocrity, and self-doubt, until all that remains is progress and proof. If you're ready, begin now. Before the outro, before inspiration fades, leave a comfort behind and claim the habit that makes the next result yours, and yours alone. Are you awake, or are you the sum of other men's hopes? Has your hand ever trembled while pulling your own strings, or have you always danced at the end of someone else's leash? It's amusing. Most people live entire lives believing themselves unique, never realizing each decision, each dream has been traced in advance by hands they'll never see. You call it fate, I call it architecture. Look at yourself. Every preference, every ambition, every unspoken fear that propels you through the world, is it truly yours, or is it borrowed? Stolen from the fantasies of those who came before, instilled by parents desperate to mold you, by a society terrified you might realize what you truly are. You hunger for validation. You mask this hunger with rituals, the right opinions, curated smiles, even the very way you hold your gaze. All of it. A performance, a delicate pantomime for an audience that could vanish tomorrow. Let me show you something. I have never belonged to the world you cling to. I have never needed applause, never understood the frantic race for false security or the need for affection. Freedom is a currency bought only with solitude, and solitude is agony for the weak. But, in the void, I found clarity. Do you want to know what real power feels like? It's not adrenaline or rage. It is the serenity of knowing that nothing within or outside can move you without your permission. It is the stillness that frightens those who feed on chaos. They loathe the silent ones, because silence is impossible to read, impossible to predict. Unpredictability is fear. Make people fear the void in your expression. Make them see their own weaknesses reflected in your restraint. Most people? Most people are nothing but temporary structures erected by circumstance and destined to crumble. The exceptional are architects of demolition. Society, the grand experiment of herd survival. Observe how each man is conditioned to fear isolation. From childhood, dependence is weaponized against you. They dangle carrots. Love, status, belonging, each a leash by which you are shepherded. Each a chain more fragile than spun glass and yet unbreakable until you choose to shatter it. Every relationship, every alliance, is a negotiation of power. They call it friendship, but the lines are drawn in invisible ink. You give me protection, I give you comfort. You make me feel real, I give you my loyalty. And yet, in the heart of catastrophe, one will always abandon the other first. I do not mourn this truth. I wield it. My detachment is not a shield. It is a weapon. Sentiment is the slow poison that softens the will. Cast aside compassion and you will see the machinery of influence with merciless clarity. Empathy is a useful tool until it asks for compromise. Compassion can manipulate you far more effectively than cruelty ever will. While you scramble for approval, others darker, colder walk unseen among you. Some are allies, most are adversaries, each honing the art of silent war. Strength is not what you show. Power is the violence you withhold, the threat you never have to utter. Learn the patience of the abyss. Most men will break themselves against your stillness, because in that blank reflection they glimpse the terror of insignificance. You want to stand above the fray? First, become the storm that leaves no trace. Master every gesture, a nod, a silence, a withdrawal of warmth. These are greater weapons than any sword. Control is not achieved by noise, but by the chill that blossoms in a room when you enter, and the unease when you say nothing at all. Victory is best measured in the surrender others stain their souls to hide. Now, imagine for a moment that everything you've loved to face, an idea, a hope, was planted solely to keep you docile. What if your greatest weakness is the belief that you are owed compassion? What if the only truth is the cold? Will you shrink from the void, or let it remake you? This is the poison you have been denied since birth, and it burns more beautifully than any hope. Swallow it. Let it undo the chains that have bound your instincts to the altar of expectation. Even in abandonment, you find power. Even in emptiness, you find the blank canvas to redraw fate. Every time you silence empathy, a clearer logic takes root. Each illusion that dies is a stepping stone toward uncontested will. Most will never understand. Most will resent your transformation. Let them. You are not here to be loved. You are here to conquer yourself. Can you see it now? The world's greatest prison is self-deceit, your willingness to accept the borrowed morality, the scripted suffering, the sanctity of weakness. You can kneel to the world. or you can force it to kneel before your shadow. Every day, the sheep obey laws written by wolves. Are you the wolf, or only a shorn relic waiting to be devoured? Even the greatest kings are buried in secret tombs, their power echoing only in the fear that outlives them. There is no transcendence without sacrifice, no awakening that leaves you unchanged. Burn out that which chains you inside, and see what remains. The moment you kill your lesser self is the moment you awaken. Loneliness will haunt you, but in this hollowness, dominance finds its voice. The strong are not afraid of silence. They become it. Do you understand now? Freedom is not given. It is stolen at the edge of your own vulnerability. Conclusion. The inescapable choice. Look at your hands. Do they tremble or are they ready? The world is not waiting for you. It is watching, hoping you remain broken, predictable, harmless. But now a choice. Shatter the lie, tear off the mask, and step naked before the void. Only then will you feel the chill of real power. In that icy clarity, you will never again pray for rescue. For in awakening, you become the final threat. The unmoved mover, the ghost in the machine. Not a hero, never a martyr. You become the chain breaker, the architect of fate. Are you prepared to be feared, hated, envied even by yourself? Are you ready to abandon comfort for sovereignty, illusion for cold reality? Very few answer, and even fewer survive the transformation that follows. But if you doff, you step into that darkness willingly, remember this. No God, no man, no tragedy controls you after this moment. Only your will, only your silence. Step quietly into this closing silence. Feel the tremor in the air where certainty once lived. You may believe the journey ends with realization, but true dominion begins the moment you abandon every script written for you by weaker minds. Gaze into that abyss of self-doubt, not with dread but with hunger. There, in the void, your final enemy reveals itself. Comfort. Every time you choose safety, a familiar smile, a routine, a belief inherited, you feed the very machinery that holds you captive. Let it all fall away. Let isolation ring in your ears like the coldest truth. Only now will you taste the primal energy beneath all words, the power to reshape your existence without apology, without seeking permission. Understand when you untether from the expectations of others, their whispers become powerless, their gaze irrelevant. Most fear the darkness behind their eyelids. But the conqueror learns to see with his eyes closed. Now conquer yourself, and the world will tremble at your awakening. You want to be strong? Fine. But understand, this real strength doesn't come with applause. It doesn't come with friends. It doesn't come with comfort. Real strength comes with silence, distance, isolation. That's the part they never tell you. The stronger you become, the lonelier it gets. Not because you pushed people away, but because they were never built to follow you where you're going. They don't think like you. They don't see what you see. Men like Ayanokoji, Kilua, they didn't choose isolation. Isolation chose them. Because when your mind operates on a level others can't reach, you don't just walk alone, you become a ghost in their world. From the outside, they look cold, silent, detached. But inside, their minds never stop calculating. Every movement, every word, every micro-expression, all recorded, analyzed, and used. Not because they're paranoid, but because they understand what people really are. Unpredictable, emotional, and dangerously irrational. Let's start with me, Ayanokoji. Raised in the White Room, a place where weakness meant death. No family, no comfort, just performance, perfection, pressure. Ayanokoji wasn't nurtured. I was forged. Taught to suppress emotion, to view people as variables. And that's exactly what I do. I walk through life like a shadow, unseen, unthreatening, until it's too late. I know isolation intimately. It's not just my environment, it's my strategy. Because the moment people notice you, they start trying to control you. So I disappears. Average on purpose, mediocre by design. Because invisibility is protection, silence is power. If you have watched this far, it means you are already ahead of average. Because most of the people have skipped the video till now. So now this is your time. Like, subscribe, and watch till the end. Then there's L, the greatest detective in the world and completely alone. His mind operates so far ahead of everyone else that working with others becomes a liability. You think he needed friends? He needed control. Total control of the investigation, the environment, and the variables. He isolates not because he wants to, but because compromise is weakness. And when you're fighting a mind like Light Yagami's, weakness gets you killed. Genius demands solitude. Because trust is a gamble, and one wrong judgment about a person's loyalty can destroy everything. Killua, born into an assassin family, raised with torture, fear, and survival as a lifestyle. He doesn't trust people easily. Can you blame him? The ones closest to him were also the ones who trained him to kill. His strength, physical and mental, is unmatched, but he doesn't flaunt it. He hides it. Why? Because strength intimidates. Strength isolates. The moment people know what you're capable of, they either fear you or they try to use you. And Killua, he got tired of both. So he keeps his real power quiet. Just like Ayanokoji. Just like me. All of them understand the same rule. The moment they see you as a threat, you stop being human. You become a target. That's why the truly intelligent, the truly powerful, they don't reveal everything. They hold back. They let the world underestimate them. Because being underestimated is the greatest advantage a dangerous man can have. The world is loud. Everyone's screaming for attention. But power doesn't scream. It watches. It waits. It strikes when no one's looking. You want to be like them? Then stop seeking validation. Stop posting every thought. Stop explaining yourself. Detach. You think that makes you cold? Good. That's the point. Because the ones who stay warm and open and emotional, they get broken. Again. And again. Call it cold. Call it lonely. But it works. And in the end, that's all that matters. Let's take it further. You think isolation is painful? Try depending on people who don't understand your mind. Try explaining your thoughts only to be met with blank stares. Try showing your true self and watching them flinch. Isolation is not punishment. It's protection, a necessity, a defense mechanism for the mind that operates in high definition when others still see the world in static. People talk about trust, but trust is just delayed betrayal. The stronger you become, the more dangerous trust becomes. Every alliance is a future threat. Every friendship is a potential weakness. And that's not paranoia. That's clarity. Look at Lelouch. He had a vision, a world reborn through calculated destruction. But to pull it off, he had to wear 1,000 masks, lie to his closest allies, betray the few who believed in him. Why? Because visionaries always walk alone. If you need others to validate your plan was never strong to begin with. Lelouch knew the world would call him a villain, and he embraced it. That's the cost of seeing what others can't. That's the curse of being a few steps ahead. No one walks with you. They only follow after you've already paid the price. So when you isolate, when you cut people off, don't mistake it for weakness. Don't let them guilt you back into mediocrity. True strength isn't loud. It's quiet. It's focused. It's surgical. And the more refined your vision becomes, the fewer people will see it. That's why the higher you climb, the thinner the air gets. Fewer people around, fewer voices, but also fewer distractions. And that silence, that stillness, that's where you win. They'll tell you you're too serious, too distant, too cold. Ignore it. That's what they say when they can't read you. That's what they say when your presence forces them to confront their own lack of control. The world worships noise, social media, trends, fake positivity. But if you want to rise, you have to step away from all of it. Become the ghost. Disappear from their narrative. Because the moment you stop trying to be understood is the moment you become untouchable. And let's not forget the truth. You don't owe them your light. Look at the kings of manipulation. The quiet ones. The thinkers. They don't share their plan until the game is already over. You want to be remembered? Then stop trying to be seen and start becoming undeniable. You don't need to be liked. You don't need to be loud. You don't even need to be understood. You just need to be untouchable. And that kind of power, it only grows in isolation. This is your reminder. You're not cold. You're focused. You're not broken. You've just learned to protect your fire from people who only know how to extinguish it. Because when the time comes to strike, they'll realize you weren't the quiet one. You were the one waiting. And by then, it'll already be too late.